In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
In the largest season of the Southeastern Esports League yet, we have whittled a field of 32 teams down to just a pair who will fight in the upcoming grand finals of the fall split of Season 4. Florida State's King University. Foof, we got two juggernauts about to take battle in front of our very eyes.
It is the old and wily veteran of Florida State who has been with us since the beginning of the epic of this SCL run, and now hearkening a newcomer who had to go through the trials and tribulations of a loser bracket as a new team coming in and thought to be a powerhouse in the beginning of the season. The first 2 weeks, we looked at each other and said, this could be a team to be in a spot like this at the end of the year. And here we are. King University has answered the call time and time again, and now standing across the line is this battle-tested and hardened group of Florida State University. I mean, a best of 7, possibly 2 if things fall one way. I don't know if you can ask for a better night.
I'm getting excited, Foof. This really should be a good series. I don't think we got here in the manner that we were expecting to, with Florida State really a Game 5 loss and a crazy upset win for South Carolina Garnet away from having an undefeated season until the grand finals, which we don't know what the result of it's going to be, but their opponent is a top 30 team in North American CRL. In the final poll, King University was ranked number 26 in all of North America in colleagues' rankings. So they had to come to the lower bracket, Foof, but they're still the full-strength King University that won a CCA Open about a month ago.
See, the big thing is that should feed Florida State University. They now get a number to tag at and say, hey, we should be at least there once we knock them off in this standing here. It puts more pressure on this team that, in a lot of ways, shouldn't have a lot of pressure, where King University is the team coming from lowers. So they're coming in playing loosely, having a lot of games under their belt, have played very well cohesively and looked better as each series has gone on, which is difficult, by the way, as good as this team is. But now with the tag of 26 sitting beside them as well as number 26 ranked, they're not going to be thinking about it. But I think that's bullet board material for Florida State.
I hope it is, because Florida State always kind of play with a chip on their shoulders. Like, since they've come into the league, they have been a bit of an underdog, no matter where they are in the bracket. I mean, season 2, they come in here and they beat everyone in the playoffs except for South Carolina. They make their first grand finals appearance. They lose in Game 7 in that grand finals, come up short. And then on land, a 5th and 6th place finish back in April, but they still made it to land. They're still competing. And now they're back in the grand finals after really our most grueling season of the SEL yet. They are one best of 7 away from being crowned champions-ish. I mean, I think this still holds the same weight, even though it's the fall split as an old SEL season.
That's the caveat.
Yeah, they may be fall champions, but I think that's still the same kind of title as season 3 champions, season 2 champions, because they had to go through the same gauntlet to get to this point. But King, oh boy, Foof. King, they've been on a tear, and Florida State, they have been too. I honestly don't know who's going to come out on top of this.
I realistically think it's whoever can get their game going first. King, it's riding off the back of their star players, of letting them fall, Turbo sitting back, wanting to be that third man. If they can get that machine going early, Florida State's going to have some problems. You talked about it already. Florida State, they are a very talented roster, but they play gritty. If they can knock them off with either boost, steals, bumps, demos, something in the early game off of a quick kickoff, I think that can allow them to dig their heels in and kind of dictate the pace of the series instead of having to play catch up after a couple goals.
The pace is going to be so difficult, though, for both teams, I think, to dictate with how long a series it could be, because I really envision
it's a marathon.
these best of sevens being marathons. You're exactly right. And I'm looking at history here to kind of think about how this grand finals might go. In 3 of the 4 SCL grand finals that we've seen, we've had a series go to game 7. So that right there tells you that we should at least have one of these series go to game 7. At least the odds are on our side. So we'll see. But that leads into that point of this being a marathon and these teams really having to adjust and then adjust again because it should be back and forth. I think if Florida State is playing their A game, they really can make this a close foot race with King.
See, that's what I love hanging on your words there, Bepic. You say close. You don't have 100% confidence. It feels like there it is. Because you never know with Florida State. You don't know which exact team you're getting. A team that was almost undefeated or a team that drops a game. You don't know if you're getting a team of Fries and Luigi. They're going to come and cook, as we have seen them do time and time again. You don't know. And then you know what you're getting in the pudding. You know what you're seeing from Cynical, Storm, and Turbo. This group ready to rock a best of 7 before us here and possibly more to be played.
All right, here we go. Florida State has been here before. King, they've been in very similar situations. They've won lands. They've won CCA tournaments. But can they do it in the Southeastern Esports League? We're about to find out.
Oh, what a ball.
Oof. They've won 6 straight series. This King roster has elimination series to get to this point. So we talk about them being hot in that sense, but both teams have had 2 weeks to prepare for this series, and I think it shows. Both squads look ready so far.
Yeah, feeling good, feeling each other out. Early demos you saw coming from King, and that's going to be the first strike. Storm setting up Cynical, the S-to-S combination. It's goal number 1.
Cynical's just down the pitch right here. I think kind of harassed Tricks into creeping too far up for that ball and then just securing the goal there, not allowing Tricks any kind of access through that near side to get the ball away. So King finding their first, and that makes sense. That's what I was expecting. If there was a team to start fast in this grand finals, way out in front of the other, I would peg it to be King.
Well, already living up their moniker. Long arcing passes, finding the back of the net. Technically could have been an own goal there, but Storm and company feeling good. No double coming from Storm. Fries the last man home, making an epic save on his goal line, but they still need to find a clear. Turbo, no boost means no pressure, but Cynical opting to back all the way off, and Trix flips the field. Wait, he's got a chance.
Whoa.
Turbo dives to make the save and keeps it away out. I thought that was postbound, but no. Ended up having to be forced to save.
And those are the moments Florida State's going to have to look for, because King, they are lethal in offense and they're fantastic in defense the majority of the time as well. But there are moments where they put too many eggs in that offensive basket and there's not enough left for their defense to eat when required. So gotta make sure you're taking advantage of those open situations. Credit to Turbo, though, for getting back and making an incredible save off the post.
It's also a big play by Turbo. Tricks with a chance here. Going to look for Luigi. Luigi signing off on it as well. The demo opens the door, and we're tied 1-1.
Beautiful demo by Luigi. Great 50 win by Fries as well to get that ball in Trix' hands, who had a wide open road to the King net right there. Luigi, I don't mind that goal steal right there, because first of all, you got the demo. Like, you open that up, you deserve the goal points in my eyes. I know we've argued about that before, Foo, but as well, it gets that redirect mechanic kind of warming up a little bit, because he redirected it there, and to have that in your back pocket is paramount in the grand finals.
Well, Cynical will slow it down. He put it right on Trix' nose. You have to be careful here in transition. And Florida State back-to-back goals.
And that's Cynical twice now. That's made a big mistake in defense, in transitional defense. Right there, letting the ball get a little bit too far away from King members and then couldn't get back in time. The first one, he overstepped in offense. Turbo bailed him out, but right there was no one back to bail him out. So Cynical, a couple of mistakes early, and Florida State grabbing a lead.
Back-to-back goals has them feeling comfortable and confident. Turbo, soft touch there, Fries. Cutting it out and clearing them for the Tornado squads. They're very helpful and very thankful to get that clear. Cynical, soft touch there, but it ends up dissuaded by Trix on the goal line. Storm, corner play more. There's a bump from Trix. It's going to be a pinch shot. Fries unable to score as Cynical. Aware just enough to make that save.
Luigi's alone in defense here. He has a lot to do. Does well-ish. Gave Storm a shot, and that is a dangerous proposition, but made up for it. Did Tricks, who now clears the zone. That Fries for no shot. Cynical gets a tire in there and pokes the ball away. Storm missed there in defense, but Turbo and Cynical now transitioning away. Another save made by Fries. It's that first stretch of play, Foof. King really hasn't been able to set up their offense for those long stints of play in the Florida State end like we saw early.
The big thing is mounting these weird touches, trying to control the ball. And Florida State's done a great job of seeing how they want to pass, how they want to shoot. And now it's going to find the back of the net. Tricks finding a bit too much in the mind of his opponents. That's an own goal.
Yeah, he crept up a little bit too far, had to race back, and that's just underestimating the transition speed of King, because they can get from their goal line to yours in the blink of an eye. And Florida State caught out right there, kind of like King was a couple of moments ago, and now we're level in game one here, this grand finals.
I was wondering if Tricks get turned around in time. So that's a beautiful clear by Storm. Cynical running up ahead. The soft touch there turned away by the diving Seminole defender as Tornado's back on defense. Luigi gonna find an open net, takes full advantage of it. Not an easy shot, but it's 3-2.
Who's missed out on the back wall? Not a good touch by Turbo, but Storm misreading that as well, turning a bad situation into a worse one. And that's a critical lead they just given Florida State in the final minute.
Seeing the friendly banter of what a save. Now Fries wins the kickoff. It's 4-2.
Now a 2-goal lead because of a pair of mistakes out of King. They're not giving this game away by any stretch of the imagination. Florida State still having to take it, but making uncharacteristic mistakes.
Game one, a bit of a bugaboo here if you're a King fan. Florida State feeling great, though, is now Fries wins it up and over one, but Cynical has a clear. Cynical to Turbo, Turbo to backboard, trying to find himself again. The ball floating, but not much else, as you see a lot of touches, but no real offense. King setting their sights back at this midfield strike, trying to reset and find a goal before probably that 30 to 25-second mark.
Turbo's got an opportunity here to transition the ball. He plays it off the side wall, and Storm makes that second touch. Cynical, great redirect. Now penetrate that Florida State defensive end and see if they can expose any kind of weakness on the back wall, but Seminoles doing very well. Stay spaced out, but not too far apart from one another. That is some great tandem defense. The King is still trying to get through, but one player to beat now, playing it off the back wall. Luigi didn't have the read, but Cynical didn't have the shot in the final 10 seconds now. Turbo tried to find anything, playing it off the ceiling. Gets cleared by Fries, and that should get King out of the way in game one. There it is. FSU take the first.
And Florida State University 1-0 here in this grand finals and continue their winning ways. You talk about it, a couple of small errors that were forced over here. King, uncharacteristic on the kickoff. Small misreads on the backboard. These tiny, usually insignificant moments are magnified in a series like this.
Right, and I'm interested to see if that continues for King. When a team comes out and in game one makes those kinds of critical errors that kind of get in the ballpark of giving the game away, does it continue? Does King tilt? Do they start to get concerned because they're the ones that have to force the bracket reset here? They need to win this best of 7, or those 6 straight series wins in the lower bracket, all for naught. You bow out in second place, and that's still a good run, but this King team, they expect first in tournaments.
Absolutely. And now you're sitting kind of feeling that lost stew for a moment. And the Giant usually wakes up quickly as Storm already has one an answer.
And this is why I love watching King play offense, because a normal player would just try and whip that ball off the back wall, maybe see if a teammate's center to score, to just force the defense to panic. But Storm wants the goal right there. He fakes the defender, making him think he's going to shoot it, and then just places it softly off to the side. It's so perfectly executed, and probably kind of stabilizes this King team just a little bit.
Storm opting for the boost here, ends up getting a touch on the ball as well. Turbo back down, looking for Storm, a double commit. Now all 3 players for King are up, and they might know they can't cash in as Turbo a bit too far. Luigi, ball sitting on his nose, is going to push it into the corner on this King side. Fries has a bump for his teammate, but Cynical makes another save. Tricks denied by Storm, and now it's a mad dash back. The ball corralled at midfield. Storm demos one. Turbo looking for the meat of the net, but he pushed it high.
Oh, good read by Trix. Right there, getting the ball away and then trying to chase Storm down, but Turbo on top of it. King reading one another well, bailing each other out. The situations that might turn into possession going the other way. Instead, a Tornado continuing to press the issue, looking for a second goal, setting up these low percentage, highly mechanical plays that they can hit, which is why I don't mind them going for it, but Florida State surviving by a thread at the moment.
Luigi getting up in time, perhaps yelling wahoo as that one goes by. Fries with a chance here, wants a soft touch. It does, but Turbo reads it beautifully. A better save off of a magnificent shot.
Luigi's awkward there. Doesn't have any boost, so it's going to be Fries and Tricks for the time being. They have a shut down by Storm, playing the ball to Turbo, but wasn't able to place that on target. Another partial missed execution by King in transition. It's a bang-bang play, but if you hit it, you're up 2-0 in a big response game.
Storm loses control here. Fries pressuring, but Cynical ready to pick up for his teammate. Now trying to change and go towards offense is Tricks. The ball stolen from him as well. Now Storm, backboard play. He's got Cynical waiting in the wing. Turbo floating dangerously, but Cynical goes far post, but can't get it to fall. Storm, another shot, but that post will not bend. Cynical bumped into the play here, so the pressure stays on this FSU squad.
But they have found ways to alleviate it. So Turbo off the ceiling. I love it. I love that they're going
like, you see
for
me,
that
right?
here. I don't know if Florida State did, but Turbo couldn't get that perfect touch. I don't know what the perfect touch would have been right there, but either way, the Seminoles again alleviating this King pressure, finding a transition which they're going to have to score on eventually. But at the moment, despite spending 60% of this first half of Game 2 in their zone, giving up 5 shots to King, they've only relinquished that one.
That's the only goal scored. Now Storm just kind of being a nuisance, but unable to find that back of the net. Tricks slowing this down again. Stuck and hemmed into this goalie's box in the defensive third of the field has been this FSU squad. Turbo off the backboard, going to go for a bump here. Can't find it, but just the backup comes in time. That's going to be another shot, but another save. The post not wanting to work with this King squad currently.
No, but they'll get a second opportunity in the 1v2. Turbo took it himself, but Tricks again making a critical read for Florida State on their own goal line. The clock continues to tick down here. King pressing for this second goal, but nothing given just yet. Finally, something falls for the Tornado. It's Cynical putting it in and Turbo setting him up.
That beautiful touch off of the backboard, kind of reading it from Cynical. I love that soft kiss to bury it. The setup from Turbo. Cynical signs off. 2-0, you talked about it. It's what the Seminoles did not want to see here, especially with 90 seconds left.
See what Florida State can do off kickoff. They had a kickoff goal in the last game. That's the greatest of touches from Storm, but I'll eat my words. Played it right to Turbo. Was able to clear the defensive end for King. Storm trying again. Fries will close down on that ball. Midfield line, but there are no quick transitions for Florida State. Instead, it's more shoelace saves.
Shoelace saves are going to be great. Those medals would look good if you had a lead to rest them on, but nothing on the offensive end right now. As Storm doesn't even have to save it. Tricks cannot get to it effectively, and Cynical has a clear to midfield. Turbo catching it beautifully, but a big 50 from Fries keeps it on the defensive end instead of a shot.
Second touch from Fries.
Wait a minute.
Got the ball to Luigi. I don't think Luigi was anticipating it, though. But Fries still given a chance, and he'll do what Fries does. Cuts the lead in half. And all right, Florida State making one last stand in Game 2.
Turbo tried everything. He was almost demoed on the backside. He played in a 2v1, just could not make the play at the end. And so, lead cut in half, 35 seconds. Game on here in Game 2.
Off kickoff. Fries getting a second chance. Won't grab the boost, though, so nothing in the tank, but still finds the ball to Tricks. That was a lot of space to shoot for the Seminole there outside the King's box, but they find the save they need to. They get the ball out. They set Turbo up for a double, and you know he hits those to get King now on the precipice of tying our series.
The man stuck on defense last time says, I'm taking it myself. Off the backboard, soft kiss under. There's nothing FSU can do but watch as they fall back to a 2-goal deficit.
Now we really need to kick off goal here, and again, it's a win for Florida State, but King hang back a little bit more this time around, and the ball down the field is just going to waste clock. King, they're going to level this series unless Florida State does something crazy right here.
Magical.
1 second left.
It's not over.
I might eat my words again.
Fries doing Fries things. The Big 50 gets Tricks back in the mix, and now we have a singular second. 1 moment here to try and set up Florida State.
So bad about timing those game-sealing calls, but it's over anyway. King is still going to win. They will still be tying us up, but that was a hard-fought game too, despite the multi-goal lead that King had a couple of times in that game.
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was seeing Storm's bumped cars. Over 20 cars he was hitting. So that is massive disruption. Just moving the defenders and offensive players around where they don't want to be, breaking the rotations, causing just mayhem. And that is where they built that early lead and were able to hold on to pressure. When you're talking about, they were in that front for 60% of the game up until that point. It was because of boost deals, because of bumps, because of that pressure.
And then playing around each other as well in the midfield. Thanks to that pressure, they get the space to kind of play aggressively like that. But I just love the cuts and the cheeky redirects that all 3 King members go for all of the time. Like if that ball is going through the midfield and there's a King member anywhere in the vicinity, they're probably trying to redirect it or take a glance off their front bumpers to play off the back wall or towards the net to force these defenses into awkward position. It's like that's the signature move for this team. You know, in Rocket League, it's hard to call any move a signature move for a team, but those upfield redirects from King, absolutely.
Oh, I was expecting a 1-2-1, and so was King as they have put 2 defenders up. Now they're in a bit of a trouble here as Turbo has to make another diving save. Luigi and company still have pressure, but Cynical makes the touch to keep it away. Tricks hunting midfield. His teammate ends up cutting him off, so they need to be careful here as the retreating Luigi finally has boost again. King, retaliatory touch, but it's turned all the way back by Fries.
Fries quick to respond to that touch from Storm. His double, though, interrupted there by King's defense. Now Storm with half a tank of boost finds Cynical for a shot, but no goal. Luigi, backflip save there. Fries, though, gives it back to Cynical, who wasn't prepared for the shot. Storm
Cynical again!
He places it too high, and somehow it's still 0-0.
Cynical literally stood in one spot of the pitch and got the ball 3 times in a row. He still doesn't understand what happens. He thought he was maybe in a training pack and just restarting the shot every time, but he could not hit it. Storm and company wanting to get back onto this offensive push. Luigi hunting for the ball here is going to get a touch towards midfield, but there's no one home. This is something I'm starting to see from this FSU team. So they have good ideas off the backboard, good ideas from the corner, but they don't have shooters in position when they have these pretty centers.
Speaking of, Fries was in position for a pass there, finding Luigi in the middle of the field. Sorry, vice versa. But either way, Florida State, they didn't get it done. You know, we've watched so much of the tandem play from Fries and Luigi. I'm starting not to be able to tell them apart. That chemistry of this Florida State team has been, they've been together for so long. Like, this is the same roster that made Grand Finals in Season 2, but they're on top of each other, and yet they don't concede again. Great save by Fries.
I mean, every time I go to any establishment and they ask if I want fries, I'll say with my Luigi, and they get confused, but, you know, we have to harken back to the simpler times. As now Cynical looking for a simpler pass to Turbo. Storm, beautiful job slowing this down. Fries and Tricks have to make something happen on the goal line. Now it's a 2v1. Turbo has the clear in front of him. It's a quick goal.
That's a great transition by King. I was talking up the chemistry of Florida State, and they just dismantled it. Cynical right there, taking Fries out. Saw the diving save he made like 20 seconds ago and was like, all right, not again. Bumps him out of the way there on the goal line. That's a great job by King, and now they could find another as Turbo's got a full tank of boost and a lot of space to work with.
I mean, I still want to go back to that. That is all on Storm, realizing how much space he had at midfield and literally hitting the brakes. Letting FSU panic, get up in the air early because they thought it was going to continue with the breakneck pace, and that moved the defense around without even having to touch the ball. This team will chess you. They will out-mechanic you. They will play Rocket League and dare you to make them uncomfortable, as they have found another lead in this series.
Ooh, Tricks. 50-50 to slow down that counterattack and buy enough time for Florida State to get back here. They're still a little discombobulated as that ball is taking a glance off their back wall so many times in a row, and yet Tricks finds the save he has to make sure it stays a 1-goal lead for King. We're getting a very similar game 3 to what we saw in the second game of this series, where King had a lot of pressure, a lot of great opportunities, but Florida State kept it close until these final 90 seconds.
That word kind of creeps up again, Bepic. They're keeping it close, but might not have enough to stay over the top, as Storm wants to go over the top of the defense, but can't cash it in. Now it's back on his nose. He's demoed for his trouble. Luigi, though, through the smoke, lost the original possession, so it turned into a pass instead of a dribble.
Soft touch from Tricks, but Storm misplays it. Leaving the ball for Turbo, I suppose. Another benefit of playing like King does. Big dunk from Fries. That's a double tap opportunity that he couldn't put in. Tough shot. One I'm sure Fries expects himself to make.
Player caliber Fries usually hits those, and he hit it on his own net. Turbo's done it again, and it's 2-0.
Oh, Fries. I mean, that's very much a forced own goal. That's a beautiful second touch from Turbo, but it's a painful own goal right there, regardless, for Florida State. They were so close to tying it up, and then King just marches down the field and forces them to concede, but maybe one here. No, the flick from Luigi goes too far.
Just a bit too much off of the spoiler there. Now Tricks going back. Turbo still full aerial denial in front of this net, and the post works against him. I thought Storm had that saved.
Still, Florida State do exactly what they did in the last game. They concede that second goal to King, and they immediately answer with one to cut the lead back in half. And now, we have got a critical 37-second stretch about to take place in front of us.
Well, you talk about the series kind of forms in games 3 and 4. Storm and company want to make it one where they go, give up an early lead, and then get an early lead, and then build on it again. A 2-goal advantage here with sub 30 seconds.
Someone copied and pasted the game 2 segment of the stream into this segment. We are seeing an absolute replica of
Scriptwriters getting lazy.
What we watched last game. They must be, because now Florida State, they're going to score with, a couple seconds left, and then kickoff's going to flub. I just know it's going to happen.
Well, no boost in Tricks' automobile currently. It's Turbo. Waits in front of the net here. Storm, another touch. It's going to bounce back down. Denied by Luigi, and perhaps some last-second magic being needed here as FSU looking to be down in the series and make it 2-1. King University score one on the road, and they say, yes, Bepic, we'll give you another goal, but it's going to the team in yellow.
Either way, King win it again, whether it's a copy-pasting of everything up until the final moments of this game, they still get the win. That result remains the same, and they take back control of this series. But, boy, is it close. Florida State, if they can capitalize on a couple more opportunities, they are right there with King.
The issue is King has started to clean up these opportunities. They're getting fewer and further in between. And when you are a Luigi playing against this King University team and you make a fast break, you win the 1-on-2 to have a double tap opportunity, you have to put it in the back of the net. And this right here shows you why. They would have been leading. They had a chance.
It tells you just how good Florida State is to be going for those kinds of balls. And if they go in, they've got that chance, Foof.
And this is where the rubber has met the road. King University wanting to peel away instead of burning out, as this FSU team trying to crawl back and catch up and tie this series.
All right, big game 4 now. King could be a game away from forcing the bracket reset. They take this one. Tricks, though, trying trying to get something started early on here. King is all kinds of clumped up in the corner, but as always, they just somehow escaped and now are trying to put together a quick counterattack on the other end.
Cynical. Love seeing that open net, trying to make some magic happen. The finesse is not there at the moment. Luigi to Fries. Fries wanting to go back. No, he can't find the touch, so it goes backboard instead. Now Turbo in the air. The soft touch. Tricks can't get there again, and Turbo is the man making own goals happen.
Now right here, Turbo literally signs off on it with that signature shot on target foof, the redirect in the midfield. I've seen this King team pull that off so many times, and these teams, that means they have too, and yet they're still not back because of the balancing act. They have to play an offense to defense, playing against the Tornado.
Now Fries looking back towards Luigi. This one a bit too hot as it flew towards that red octane. They wanted to go with the 1-2-1, but the dish too spicy. As Tricks wins out on the touch here. Cynical, though, beautiful speed, knowing his teammate lost the touch, and then saves out to keep this ball in a dangerous way. Storm gets beat. That's Luigi slowed down for the ball. I thought he might play for the bump, but we still stand at a 1-0 game.
King is doing well to keep their boost game intact. I mean, all throughout that sequence when they were really clumped up in the corner, playing fast defense, they still had about 75% average boost, turning that ball into offense, which they get a shot out of it. It's saved by Tricks. More good defense out of Florida State, but now King can use that boost they saved up to really put the clamps on Florida State if the Seminoles allow.
That's a big 50. Fries needs to collapse midfield. He's going to have a pass. He left the net, and so Storm collapses on it to get a save. Luigi back in the mix, trying to throw something to Fries. But again, this King defense building up enough in time to keep it at a 1-0 game.
Still Florida State playing through that corner, trying to wear down the near side defense of King. Storm, though, taking it low as Cynical center. Fries all alone in defense and lets the ball be. Steals the corner boost. Gets something for his effort, but Florida State, they get a half clear, but have to get right back to playing defense on their goal line now.
Cynical, the soft touch, but shot denied by Fries. Storm, sidewall play. Going to be left to his own devices. That's past the Fries again. The only person looking far to Luigi. That's the money play you want to see if you're FSU. It doesn't cash in, but the pressure's still on. Cynical up in time, but he can't find the touch. Luigi has the goal, and it's 1-1.
King occasionally are still making those same misses that helped Florida State win game one. Cynical, it's a difficult read, but it's one that you have to make if you're in that position. He doesn't, Florida State capitalizes, and they are awarded for all of that possession, about 60% of the first half played in the King end, and finally, Florida State get on the board.
Well, they made a beautiful infield pass that turned into a laser of a shot that had to have been saved. Now Storm up and over one. Fries making his touch to slow it down. Fries has been something just beautiful on the defensive side. Now in transitional play, no one home. It's 2-1.
Fries just took over, beat everyone on that King's side, and cashes in a go-ahead goal. That's the kind of play that you need to be making in a grand final situation, and Fries just made it.
Fries made it. Now just kickoff confusion as Turbo has to press up forward just really aggressively here to slow it back down. Fries a pass into the midfield. Careful there, friend. You've been aggressive and beautiful in this game, but you don't need to give easy ones up. Cynical slowing it down. He's got a just exquisite ball control. Now it's pinched towards the net, but no save needed. A Storm turned away again, this time by Luigi.
See how King does, getting the ball clear here. Good win by Storm, but Trix has space. The passing game of Florida State has been so good this game. There was a three-man play that got interrupted. I think it was Storm that stole it from turning into a goal earlier on. And here, a little bit of redemption for the team play out of FSU.
Well, the big thing is this is something I have not seen from King yet, and that was a rotation to boost. That left the net home. They thought they had a clear, and it was stuffed at midfield, no one in the net. All three FSU cars were inside of that triangle of King's defense. 3-1 scoreline right now in a 2-1 series as KU trying to find the KO touch, perhaps, as that's going to be a shot into the open net, and now it's them inside of the three-point triangle of FSU.
Not a KO yet, but it is a nice strike across the Seminoles' jaw. Beautiful shot by Turbo, and he just caught Florida State lacking right there, did King. And now they've set up another final 60 seconds that should be a barn burner because Florida State could really, really use this game win.
Not only use the game win for the series, but for mental. Let's be honest, they have done the word you've said. They've kept it close, but only winning one and having 2 games where you felt like you had a chance until the end is cynical. Uncharacteristic.
Oh, no.
Near chance Luigi, nothing but grass. He's gonna sign. No, he can't get to it either. Open nets just are horrifying. You can't get past them. The ball rolling around. Tricks can't get to it. It is confusion in front of these nets. Now Turbo running on his own sideline. He's got the ball on the sidewall. He's got one player midfield and Fries cutting it out.
One missed shot from Cynical set off a domino effect of insanity that it seems like we've recovered from, and so we enter the final 10 seconds with King trying to find an equalizer, trying to get us into overtime in Game 4. Cynical, though, stopped by Luigi, who spikes that ball and confirms the Seminoles' Game 4 win, and now we are tied in this best-of-7.
I'm still in awe of what just happened. Pure pandemonium on both goal lines. And it turned into, like, you know, the champ 1-3 lobbies where no one can hit anything. We're just panicking at the ball, and it doesn't work out for King. 2 goals, 2 assists, Turbo and Cynical combined, but it's not enough. Fries getting 2 from Tricks, but Luigi, the man we talk about, the one that has to make these plays, his goal is the difference maker here.
Unbelievable from Florida State to survive that moment of chaos. Honestly, for both teams to survive that moment of chaos, but Florida State to respond to losing 2 games in a row. And then that shows you, I think, how they see themselves in this series. Some teams, they lose 2 straight games to King, and they're like, oh, here's the number 26 team in all of North American CRL. They've finally turned it on. They figured us out. They're going to win this series. But Florida State, they've got some CCA open placements as well. Actually, just 1 placement, but that's still a really good result for them. And throughout this season of the SEL, they have been a top dog, and they're proving it still in the grand finals.
Yep, sitting here 2-2, and Storm plays it low and slow. He has been, for lack of a better term, he's been the submarine pitcher of his roster. Slowing down the game when needed, making it awkward and technical, daring this team to think. Storm to Turbo, Turbo to the back of the net, and King University, the well-oiled machine, back on top.
Fries gets sucked into the corner here, dusted by Storm and Tricks. Try as you might, my friend. I don't think you're going to beat Turbo to that ball. King is just too fast to let that kind of open opportunity go by the wayside.
1-0 here for King University in the first blood. Kings of the series kind of continue forward. I believe 3 of the first 4 games, now 4 or 5 games, they've scored first. Cynical. Backboard play, but it's not going to work. Storm. Soft tap midfield looking for Turbo. Turbo found it, but the defense finds him out as well.
It's a miss from Cynical. Not gonna matter. Storm actually got an opportunity. A demo on the far side, going to open things up for King, and Cynical, he made the mistake that started that play off, but he makes up for it with great off-the-ball movement. That demo onto Fries opened up that one-on-one play from Storm to set up the eventual shot from Cynical. So well done recovering from a mistake.
Not only that, but the bump clearing the net as well. 2-0 here for KU. Now trying to go 3-0. Looking for a 3rd straight goal as the Giant, once again, waking from its slumber for a game. Soft tap up. Tricks chasing behind here. Wanting to make something in the middle of the field. Bouncing ball. Storm unable to get to it. Fries flying by as well. And so very aggressive pushes right now from this team in the Garnet.
Which I get that. You need to keep playing that style you've been playing throughout the series. Aggressive in offense, making sure you leave a little bit back when you have to transition to your own side.
Dunk.
But Florida State paying for that aggression right now to go for King. Storm pull out a shot, but it sets up another one from Turbo, and Cynical, the third man on this King roster that is so good, backing one another up, steps up, takes a shot, scores the third.
Luigi and Fries just trapped on that goal line for way too long. You can't do anything when you're not moving, especially with a team that likes to keep the ball in the air. KU up 3 big ones here in game number 5.
This is one of those games that, you know, we talk about Florida State playing evenly with a top team in North American CRL, but you're going to have games like this as the underdog in a series where the other side just gets your number early and they keep their feet on the gas pedal. And I say feet because that's what it feels like. The King has 2 feet on the gas pedal, pressing it down that hard. 4 goals in the first half is unbelievable.
Well, it's the proof's in the pudding. The offense unrelenting. The defense from FSU has been broken open. Storm, another change of pace. The backside touch. It is 5-0.
In every game in this series so far, the winning team has had 3 or 4 goals, and King has just scored 5. We're not even at the halfway point yet.
We'll do that twice.
Yeah, they might double that up at this rate. On track for 10. I'm sure it'll slow down when Florida State gets a handle on things, but will they?
I mean, Florida State in shambles, trying to pick up the pieces as they drop and break into smaller pieces. So the shards now trying to be reclaimed as Tricks and company on the defensive front, finally flipping the field here, but not having a lot to follow it up. Boost tank's fairly low for FSU, and Fries backing off.
Well, we'll see what Florida State can do here, if they have a go at the comeback or if they just kind of try new things, see if they can get something going into the game 6. Probably should have been 6-0 right there, but Crossbar says no thank you.
Something about crossbars in red, just kind of like the SEL, but Cynical, soft tap, into the corner we go, looking for another touch. Turbo, bicycle touch, but turned away. Savior medal on the nose of Tricks and his Octane. But it's just kind of a consolation prize at the moment as they've given up 5 in this game alone.
Storm's got so much boost to defend against what is
all the boost.
One of the only FSU attacks in this game. They've registered 1 shot. They've had a little bit of offense played, but haven't been able to develop anything.
Another one.
Plays like that haven't been there throughout this series. Letting that ball go in the corner. You know King is going to be in the area, and Florida State's going to turn it into a goal on the other end because that's what SEL teams do, but that's still a mistake in the corner that really hasn't been there throughout this series.
And that is a moment where you talk about the pass from the corner that they've been looking for so long, given free space, having a man on the back post. That's how they want to score a lot of their goals, but you don't want to score those when you're down 5.
No, it does feel good, though, at the very least, to get one on the board, perhaps, but King's going to get right back to it. They're wasting clock, trying to score a 6th goal, though. Florida State going to find a way out. That net's sort of open, but Turbo closes the gap, as he always seems to do, and if they scored right there, proof I was going to believe, but I'm not sure FSU can do it anymore.
Well, you just have to believe that something can happen. What is that something? Probably a King win. But it's never over until it's over, and the clock continues to count down, and it is spelling worse and worse here for FSU as they are going to be most likely sitting at tournament resetting point if they can't find 4.
Means 2 games in a row they'll have to win. They haven't done that in this series. They won game 1, they won game 4. King, they have been on a tear through the lower bracket. If you've missed it, I don't know where you've been. You obviously haven't seen the bracket because it's got King University all over it. 6 straight series wins up until this point. After game 5, they're going to be 1 game away from making it 7.
Luigi, a soft touch there, collecting in kind of on the cash-in goal. Going to make it 2-5, and you know, it's always nice to score one, but feels like maybe that's not what they really want here, being down big. Clock just kind of ticking away, and now we're sitting at a 3-2 series. King at this reset point.
And now we have to see what Florida State's made of again. They've been tested throughout, but given up 19 shots to King. That's not something that can happen again if you want to win whatever game you're giving up that kind of output in.
Again, there's best of fives that some teams get 19 shots. And you're like, you know what? You guys did pretty good on all of it. In a game!
Yep.
In a game, Epic. That is absurd. Florida State only had one to retaliate for the longest time. They ended up getting some garbage time goals at the very end, getting 4 shots in total. That is 1 to 4. They got 1 shot and allowed 4. That is not a winning ratio.
Let's hope they know that going into game 6 now, because they're going to have to get this one back, lest we go to a second best of 7, and who knows what happens at that point. Off kickoff,
Luigi
got boost time, a teammate behind him. Trix, can he score
Good
it?
touch.
You bet he can. 1-0 FSU.
Trix, beautiful answer there. They had no offense in that previous game up until the end. Trix early kickstart here. Near post play, signing off on it. Turbo unable to get home, and it's 1-0 here for FSU.
And doesn't that just sum up SEL teams right there? You lose a game where you give up 19 shots, and then within 6 seconds of the next game starting, you've already scored.
You know, always feels, you talk about it, feels great to have that long run ended, especially so early. It kind of resets the mental. They can breathe. We can score and not be like, I guess it feels good to not be down 7. But Storm and company, they know what they need to do. They've done it 3 times in this series. Now have gotten the reset. Beautiful headhunting on the goal line, forcing Luigi and Trix to double commit as their comms and their rotations have been broken.
Yeah, I don't think King's going to be phased about anything, really, in this series.
1 goal, they're broken.
They're dying right now. Like, I've seen this team sweep a team with an RLCS Pro on it in grand finals, on LAN, and they did it like it was nothing. Like, it was a close series, and they would have a goal scored on them and just immediately respond, do what they do best, and get that offense cooking to find an answer. And that's what they're doing right now. They're setting up possession plays. They're trying to get themselves space, but they're not overcommitting in trying to do that. They back off when they have to. Right here, Storm backs off. Missed the boost. Oh, he's got a teammate to help him out. That's how King rocks.
And always having that teammate in the back pocket to pick you up after either a miss or a mistouch or a soft play has been King's moniker on the defensive side. Trix wanted a second. He couldn't find the soft touch. Luigi and Trix now rotating back. Fries such an aggressive push as the third, but wins out on the touch for now.
Florida State still hasn't shied away going for opportunities like that, where it's kind of a long shot. You know, you might not beat the King defender with how speedy they are, but FSU's still going for plays like we saw a couple moments ago, and I respect that confidence, trying to outspeed King, and it's gotten them this far. Still looking for that second goal. A buffer sure would be nice against the Tornado in Game 6.
Good demo to start opening up that net, but Storm knew his teammate might be blown up, and so he cut under it, and now it's a turn and offense. Storm with the bump, but Turbo can't find the net. Beautiful play there. You thought maybe FSU had the power with a 2v3, but they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Fortunately, not having to pay.
Redirection, not this time. Turbo denied. Storm looking for Turbo down the field, but nothing given again. Florida State's defense, after giving up all they did in the previous game, that's just the second King shot on target this game. There's the third, still no goal. Both went too high. Okay. That one underneath the crossbar as Cynical skims in the equalizer.
Once again, just giving them too many backboard touches. Trix so awkward here. Jumps way early. Thought maybe Cynical staying away from it, just leaving the net, no one home. Cynical collects and makes it 1-1.
2 minutes left, though. We'll see if King keeps the momentum going. Florida State finds a response or just kind of neutralizes it. Doesn't let King get that kind of space again. He's a little bit more on the defensive side, trying to spring that trap in offense and counterattack mode. I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. It would seem like Florida State to sit back, and they're not right now. Fries is up the field, bumping Storm, giving Trix space to work with, setting up Luigi for some back wall space. A shot from Trix goes off the crossbar, off Turbo, that one off Cynical, and Florida State, no goal.
Luigi can't get to it as that ball's behind him, and so Trix has to chase across the field. Now the ball once again floating in that midfield area. No one really home. Fries bumping it up high. Trix wants to follow. Soft tap. 2 cars are up. King University out of position here, but Fries with nothing in the tank. Soft touch denied. Another double commit. Luigi floating in the air as Turbo ready. That third man to just keep it away from harm.
Double commit, but somehow King survive. These touches they get by that third man who didn't end up double committing are immaculate. Putting the ball out of a dangerous spot. No, they're not getting possession immediately out of it. They're making sure they don't immediately concede as Florida State again so close to penetrating that King back line, but they can't do it, and King find a clear.
Cynical, no touch. Fries wanting to corral this one, gets it behind the defender, but again, nothing in the tank for the Spinnaker, just running around the field, not catching the pads or using a lot of it to reposition. Now Turbo in a 1v2, a backboard pass from Storm. Cynical, beautiful play there, but not a lot cooking. Fries looking for the net, but Turbo back in time to not allow that to happen.
Fries zone Turbo off that ball, so that allows Trix, who has a lot more boost in the tank, step up and take a 50-50 to give Florida State potentially the last pressure play of regulation. Cynical's going to stop it on the near side. Turbo next up doing the same. Both sides playing for overtime here unless Luigi finds someone across the pitch. He doesn't. That's our first overtime here in Game 6 of this Grand Finals.
I'm still scratching my head. I thought Fries was going to play through and maybe take out a goalie or look for a far post play. But with breaking in front of it, having 2 players in the corner, you talk about it playing for OT. And so now I wonder if that is going to be the way they can close this out and force Game 7, or will King have the game, the series to reset as Turbo has to save it off the bump.
Oh, now Florida State's committed too much in offense. Luigi's got 12 boosts in the tank and was that lone man defender for a moment. You're right. It's enough to find a save and a clear. Storm's playing it backwards. Luigi across the King box. Fries a lob shot. Cynical play it straight up in the air, but he's got enough in the tank here to control that ball, though. Next up, Luigi can't take a shot. Good speed by King in defense.
Cynical now given another chance. Storm following it up. Shot here, attempt from Fries. As that ball bounces into the corner, Trix backward play. It's going to roll towards the middle of the field. Cynical, third man in the net, ready to save it. And so we still stand in a 1-1 affair here. Golden goal territory as Turbo rips one from just past the line. It's dissuade for the moment, but now the ball threatening this FSU defense.
It's King's turn, though, to play offense. FSU's got to take it away from them. Good redirection of the shot Cynical was going to take, but regardless, King is now setting up their midfield structure, and that fake going to help Florida State take it away, but they can't. Trix alone in defense again. Turbo, not much in the tank, but he's got Storm for a shot. I don't know how Trix got that save.
That Octane looking 2 stories tall, making enough of a touch. Prize following this up into this offensive third. Luigi catching it, but now it's going backwards. Turbo, 100 in the tank. Storm cutting, and now it's just a fake to open the door. Cynical and Turbo versus the lone Fries. I thought maybe Luigi was going to push up as well, but now he's got it himself. Oh. He's going to take it. It's a tie series, 2-1.
Oh my! Out of nowhere, Luigi beats Cynical, calls his own number, and Storm was not expecting that. And for the 3rd straight season in a row in the SCL, we're going to Game 7 in a Grand Finals.
Well, I can't say the next word, but what a play from Luigi. What a read. What a series coming out from both of these squads, taking us to Game 7 in possibly the first best of 7. If FSU wins it, it is their first SCL crowning. It is the one they've worked for 3 seasons. They've seen it from the other side when the other team can lift the trophy. Now they are 1 game away from doing it themselves. King, the newcomers on the block, the team that everyone saw maybe making magic happen, and I think we're going to have a... and we didn't join the game in time. we're gonna
they
rebuild that.
had to make us think about what kind of narratives are being set up with this game 7, because there are a lot of them.
Dude, so
I
good.
mean, talking about Florida State having the potential to claim their first SEL kind of trophy of sorts. I don't know if we've got a fall split trophy. I think those are reserved for LAN, but like it's still kind of a trophy. Winning it's a metaphorical trophy. You put it in your metaphorical trophy case, and
absolutely
for Florida State to be now a game away from that, I have to wonder, does that introduce nerves for them? Because if they lose this, you know
now
you,
it does.
you get a second best of 7, but no holds barred in that one. King could get going and wipe the floor with them. There's no telling.
We have trophies.
We do have trophies.
Getting word from producers. We do have trophies. So, lift trophies. But now the pressure is mounting for Florida State because there was a player that didn't join. If they rolled right into it, I think Florida State has their best chance of closing this series out. I am now a bit worried at the state here. I think King now has the advantage once again.
We'll see. We'll see what kind of composure they've got. FSU, they're no strangers to clutch moments. They lost a game 7 2 seasons ago to give South Carolina their first SEL season victory. And right there, almost conceding the first goal to King. They might yet. This is dangerous, and it does end in defeat for the FSU defense in that sequence. Great job by King capitalizing on that chaos.
Beautiful double from Turbo to set up past Tricks. Awkward. Fry is already up in the air. No one home. 15 ticks off the scorecard, and it's 1-0.
And now, danger for the Seminoles. The green light for King. The key for Florida State in this series has been limit King's opportunities. And I'll make that point in a second because that's another FSU kickoff goal. That's been another key for them.
That's what
Take
Luigi
your
said.
Opportunities right after that face-off.
He said he'll make that point in a second. It took 10 real-life seconds, 2 off the scorecard to make that happen. And it's a 1-1 game here in Game 7.
But as I was saying, the key for FSU has been limit King's opportunities. In all of the FSU game wins, King has been held to single digits in the shot column. In all of King's victories, they have shot 11-plus times in the Florida State end. So, the Seminoles can make sure they're not restricting possession, but restricting opportunities for the Tornado. They will be in much better shape than the opposite.
I want to talk patterns here, Bepic, because you think the world kind of revolves and stays in similar patterns. It was a win for FSU, then 2 losses in a row. Then a win, and then 1 loss, and then another win. They're winning games closer and closer together. By this, they have the chance in this pattern to win here and close this series out. But King, you talk about it, this offense is literally a hair's breadth away from scoring a spectacular highlight play at any moment.
It's always the threat, and that's why you can't allow them those opportunities to do the highlight reel plays. But right now, King already racking up 3, a second shot opportunity there. Sorry, 4th shot opportunity, looking for the second goal as they shoot again, but Trix finds the block. Fries gets the ball out. The ball over to his longtime teammate, is going to control it, getting past 1.
No boost, though.
With Cynical, you're right, no boost. We couldn't take that 50 with Cynical, and the play dies out for Florida State.
Good 50 from Luigi, though. Stole the 100 and stole the ball. Now trying to steal the lead. And Storm has to make the save, but Trix has no one home. We called him with no boost, but he said you got no goalie.
He refueled and re-entered the play. That's a gorgeous save by Storm. I don't know how he got to that in the situation that he was in, but his teammates weren't there to back him up, as is usually the case with King, and so Florida State is given a Game 7 lead. Off kickoff Turbo. Opportunity to set up another chance for King to claim a goal, but they can't do it. Can't get past Florida State right there, and so we'll stay at 2-1 for now.
Beautiful 50 again from Luigi. Trix rotating back home. Knows Fries is there, but it's a bit late as Turbo has the touch. Storm 50 as well. Fries, I love this aggressive push. He has the shot. He has the goal. FSU's up 2.
And Florida State continues to mount a pile of confident goals. Fries just went up for that, no hesitation. Coming from the side of the ball, he still puts the shot on target, and King's not back in time to save it. That is an incredible shot to be hitting in Game 7, and now Florida State have a 2-goal buffer in a game that would give them a first-place trophy. That one not quite there for Fries, and now what does Florida State have for us? Transition defense, well, they got enough. Just King didn't have much in the transition offense.
Kind of a handshake as both teams retreat. Now I'm wondering what King can do. Turbo to Storm. Storm pulling the trigger, but it's a bit too far. Tricks cannot get there. Turbo, a pass midfield. He's going to keep it on his own nose. That's all 3 defenders from FSU discombobulated, but still somehow holding on. A beautiful pack pass. Turbo gets it in the air. Storm following suit. That's going to be a pass off the backboard, but no one home. King knocking on this door.
Fries caught that ball perfectly. Touch it hard over to the corner, and Cynical is prepared for that. Finding Storm down the field, but Luigi beats him. That's going to leave Cynical in an awkward spot. Thought Turbo was a lot closer than he was. And miscommunication from King on their goal line. Give FSU another.
Cynical opting to go off of this ball here, realizes the third isn't close enough, and all they can do is watch Tricks. They're not for kids, it's for FSU. They're up 3.
Okay, 4-1. And this is not a state of the game I expected to see. The King blowout earlier is something I'm a little more used to, but Florida State, the team with all the momentum in the world, with 90 seconds left to defend a 3-goal lead. Cynical using his mechanics to penetrate the Florida State zone, but Seminoles collapse on that play. Though this one, they can't. Turbo, though, he can't catch up to it. And King, again, empty-handed.
Storm was there, far post. If they don't double quit, that's a goal. That's when they always cash in. Now Storm caught too far forward. Luigi carrying it forward. And it looks like you're going to see this Seminole spear firmly planted in the middle of the field.
Wow. Florida State now 61 seconds away from confirming their first ever SEL season victory, split victory, whatever you want to call it. It's still impressive.
Fall championships on the line. Luigi and company, finally, is this the moment they can crown themselves a champion in the SEL? Only 50 ticks left. King looking for offense, have another chance, but now the ball bouncing back towards Turbo. Ball resting on Luigi's nose. He's been the front runner. He's been the flag bearer. Now to Trick. Storm slowing it down in less than half a minute left to be played, and it should be a victory lap here for FSU as they give Luigi the Hattie.
Boy, is it a victory lap for Florida State. Fries flip resetting all over Turbo, and Luigi's right there to clean up. The longtime duo Foof doing it when they needed to the most. Game 7, closing out a King team that has looked incredibly solid throughout this series. Just made some critical mistakes to allow Florida State to hang around a bit too long. And in Game 7, Florida State made them pay.
I want to go back to the word we talked about. I've said it now a third time. Close. They wanted to keep it close. Stay within striking distance, and it's going to be the 7th game. That's not even close. It's going to be a Florida State victory. They are your SEL Fall Split champions, taking it by way of a best-of-7 in Game 7.
If they could hop in a time machine right now, I bet they would go back a year to the Florida State players that lost in Game 7 to South Carolina in Season 2's championship and tell them, just wait 365 days. The wait will be worth it. 6-1 in Game 7, Foof, just to put a cherry on top of an incredible season for the Seminoles.
I think, and then it goes back. You talk about this split. It is going with the hot hands. Fries, Tricks, working off each other, having a beautiful cohesion here. We already know Fries and Luigi cook. They then feed the man. Luigi a hat trick when his team needs him most. He had the miss in Game 4 that we both were left scratching our heads going, He doesn't miss those. In the heat of battle, he hits, but he comes back. He leads his team to victory, and they stand atop here. King, your time is soon, but it is not now, said Florida State.
I'm so proud of this team, Foof. I mean, I got to meet them on land back in April, and they come out in that playoffs trying to keep up what they did in season 2 in the next season of the SEL. They're confident going in. They look so good. I think they 3-0'd whoever they were playing in round 1 of uppers, and then they bomb out 0-2. They drop out 5th and 6th. It wasn't what we were expecting out of Florida State. And they wait the summer. They wait for the start of the SEL season 4. It's the biggest season we've seen yet. And in the fall, with new challengers that are ranked in the top 50 in North American CRL, and FAU, and King in the SEL now, FSU proves that the old guard has still got it, and they claim those 40 points at that fall split. Winner gets to contribute to their potential land trip come the end of the spring split.
I mean, this is the biggest kind of cash in. They do get the small trophy. They do get points that push them towards that land where they had the experience at last year. Now looking to kind of build on top of it, as you said. But man, it's so nice to finally get one under your belt.
No kidding. And trophies as well. I think they got a second place prize in season 2. And that's always a little bittersweet. I think you get a prize, sure, but you want that first place trophy to hoist, and they're gonna get it this time around. But King as well, they're gonna be going into the spring split. I mean, I head held high. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up making CRL, which incredibly competitive on the East Coast, but they are right there with some of those top 16 teams, Foof. So we could have a rejuvenated King come the King split to try and take the crown off the Seminoles' head.
Absolutely. I think we are trying to get a couple of things lined up here, possibly an interview rolling around. I'm hearing getting lined up. So getting the metaphorical microphone to players and everything in position, man. But Beppic, what a series and what a fun time it's been to be able to call the SEL this fall split with you again, my friend. And we end on such a fall fun time.
I mean, you and I have been doing this now for 2 years, and we've seen the SEL grow so much. I mean, in the spring split, we're going beyond the invite system. There's going to be a qualifier, which top 16 teams are going to be able to avoid. So if you made playoffs, you don't have to worry about going through a qualifier. But I think we're expecting even more growth come the springtime, more content. We're bringing on more staff to help out with all of that. It's a good time to be a fan of the Southeastern Esports League. I mean, we just got Game 7 in a grand finals between two teams that I was expecting to not be so close in the first series. I thought it'd be close in the second one. I was expecting King to come out and show Florida State who's boss, but I was wrong, as I have been a lot this season, and I'm okay with that.
I mean, I think what you and I both wanted was good Rocket League,
Absolutely.
which we got. We wanted something insane, which we had early redirects, beautiful plays, diving, and just Herculean saves. We wanted drama. So we had Florida State have to keep it close, holding that narrative that we talked about in the beginning, and then forcing Game 7, and then something satisfying to end it. If you're a King fan, this is not satisfying.
Right.
If you're a fan of the SEL, if you're a fan of the Old Guard, if you're a fan of Florida State, satisfying is watching a team that you've seen fall time and time again so close and have to pick up the pieces and try again finally and triumphantly lifting not only a trophy when it gets to them, but their players up in the air and winning it.
It's great to see just all the storylines going into the spring. But we are going to have an interview. I think Trix is going to be the one joining us in the booth in a little bit. We are going to throw to a quick break, though, to set all of that up. So please don't go anywhere. I know the Rocket League action's over, but you want to see what Trix has to say after his big win. So don't go anywhere. The SCL will be right back. Welcome back to the SEL, where in the booth with me, I have the now champion, Trix, the fall split champion. Trix, how are you feeling, my friend?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's good. I
Good
mean,
to
that
be
was
done with the game.
that was a heck of a series you guys
It
just
was.
played. And I missed out on interviewing you back in April when I interviewed all the teams that made land. So I'm so glad we got to do this now. I want you to talk about that best of 7 you just played against King.
Oh, I mean, I'm just glad we did it in one series, to be honest. I got a FSU versus Georgia basketball game to go to in like 30 minutes. So I told them Luigi and Fries to carry me I just said, give me 7 games. So I'm glad we got it done in one series and we didn't have to go to the second one.
Well, hopefully Florida State basketball follows Florida State Rocket League's
I hope
lead,
so.
takes the dub over Georgia. But that was a full series against King. Like, were there nerves for you guys going into that game 7 after clutching up in game 6? And then, who knows what happens in that 7th game?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. That peak shot from Luigi at the end of game 6 kind of gave us some good momentum and confidence going into game 7. So we weren't too worried. We all just wanted to get the series over with and not have to play for another 45 minutes. So,
Can't be late for that basketball game, of course. But I mean, you guys have been in an SEL Grand Finals in Game 7 before. Back in Season 2, that loss to South Carolina that had you guys fallen into second place. Was that in the back of your mind at all, playing King here?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, so that series in Season 2, I remember we went down 3-0, I think, and then we won 3 in a row to bring it back and almost reverse swept, and then we lost in game 7. So winning the first game of this series was a better start than we had that season. So I felt a little better about it, but I don't know. I didn't play last season, so all I'm gonna say is top 2. I've been top 2 both times. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But
solid SEL resume. I know you didn't play last season, but and you guys have been kind of with each other, playing with one another for, I mean, at least a year, having played in Season 2 together. I know ZNBJ hops in sometimes, but talk about the team dynamic between you three and how you've turned that into success here.
Well, I know you always like to talk about the Luigi and Fries duo. So, I mean, you're not wrong about that. They're two really mechanical, both super solid. It's kind of funny because me and Luigi probably have like twice as many games played together as him and Fries. But I just try to be a good third man and not sell their games, and it usually works out fine. But we've been playing, I don't know, it's probably been like a couple of years now that us three have been playing together. So we got some good teamwork, and our mental's pretty good usually, so we don't get mad at each other, which is probably a good thing. We kind of just try to have fun when we play, and it's been working out recently, so that's good.
I mean, you placed, I think, top 16 in a CCA Open as well as
your
near undefeated run in the SEL.
Yeah, we actually didn't. Us three together didn't get to play in a single Open actually because they always fell on Saturdays, which FSU. Top 4 in the country football team. Nothing against Rocket League, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to go to those home games. So I did, in fact, miss every single one of the Opens. But King won one of those, didn't they? So
they did.
Maybe if we had played, we would have done pretty good. Hopefully next semester.
Well, I mean, in the SEL, just alone, you guys were a Game 5 loss to Garnet away from having the perfect season. Like, first of all, I want to talk about what happened in that series. I watched the end of it. I tuned into the Gamecock stream, and I was like, what on earth is going on in this Game 5? So talk about that series and what happened there, and maybe how you kind of turned it around after that.
That was a bad day. It was I think I was on like 2 hours of sleep. Not that justifies anything, but we just got off to a slow start and played bad. Our coach Lance joined. He was like, "What are y'all doing?" Because he was watching it too. He said he felt like a failure after that game, so we had to lock in for the rest of the season for him. Just so he would relax a little bit.
Well, fair enough. It worked. I mean, now you finished 11-1 overall in series, and I mean the one loss being that Game 5 series. Not too shabby, Tricks. Congratulations. That's all I've got for you. I appreciate you joining me in the booth.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Well, Trix, I have to say goodbye to you, and I have to bring Foof back in for one last little hoorah for us casters after a great season, fall split, first half of the season. Foof, like talk about the fall split and what we have to look forward to in the spring.
So the fall split is a true story of halves, as in halves, and then halves and halves nots. We've seen teams that have not participated in the SCL, and we have seen teams that have participated in the SCL. Almost a split forming of teams that have half teams working together and half teams working off of mechanical greatness of one or two players trying to ride along, pulling a third. And you watched as it evolved, it changed, and I'm muted in Discord. Wonderful. Grand. Hey, guys, back. We're going Discord time. High five. They're going Discord audio. I muted 3 times over so I didn't ruin the interview, and I was just sitting here laughing, having a great time. But, I mean, after that long-winded everything that you didn't hear, it was fun.
Stream heard it.
Okay.
I didn't hear. Oh, I turned on the stream, so I was listening too, so you didn't have to mention it. But hey, that's all right. Peek behind the curtain.
Oh, man. But fun times.
Fun. That sums it up right there. Fun times. Like it was a long, I think 12 weeks of SCL playing in the fall split, but every single
12 weeks.
We did, and it was so much fun doing it. And so all of you that are still hanging around Twitch chat, if you're players, fans, staff in some of these organizations, thank you so much for hanging with us for so long. And I promise you, the spring split is going to be unlike anything you've ever seen with the SCL. Just continuing to upgrade. And I can't wait to see you then.
Upgrades.
That is the end of the fall split. Florida State, congratulations. They're champions there. Their football team's doing well. Basketball, we'll see what happens tonight. But congrats to them. Florida State's on the up and up right now. But everyone gets a fresh slate, a blank slate in the springtime. But we do have to take a little bit of a break, a couple months, to make sure everything's in order when that does roll around. So for Foof, for Colt, pushing all the buttons in the background, for Pranav, Fred, Sarah, Jacob, everybody that has put the SCL together this season, thank you so much for watching Rocket League. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Valorant's conclusion, 6 to 8 p.m. Infernosis and Mick. They want you to be there. They've been pouring their hearts out into the cast.
We want you to be there.
We want you to be there, so you better be there cheering on whoever you choose to cheer on. But I've been Mr. Bepic. Thank you so much for watching SCL Rocket League, and we will see you next time.